What is going on, comic fans? Welcome back to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and today we're going to be looking at the most recent trailer dumps from the MCU. Last week, Marvel Comics dropped numerous little teaser trailers for upcoming projects in the next few months, the next year or so, and it got me thinking, are we on the new path with the MCU? Are they turning a new page? Is it more of the same stuff? We're going to get into all that. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let's go. Be sure to check the description of all my videos to find links to fantastic resources like BTC, JustinComicx for cleaning, pressing, and submission services. And if you're looking to get into the hobby, need a place to find comic books or tabletop gaming stuff, check out ABX Comics and Games. Their link is down below to their Facebook group, and they can get you started on your adventures today. So let's get into today's video. So it's no secret that the MCU has been on some of the highest highs and some of the weirdest lows here recently. It seems like the masses have kind of started pulling back a little bit. The numbers aren't as great as they used to be. The streaming services numbers aren't where they were. They're not getting the viewerships like they did. But with Agatha wrapping up, as well as these trailer dumps, it had me thinking, what does it look like moving forward? Because we really didn't have anything to much look forward to. We had the San Diego Comic-Con big announcement that their future projects are going to be an Avengers movie where they ripped the name Doomsday for it, a Secret Wars movie, which everyone should be excited for, but a lot of people seem a little indifferent for. But they said Robert Downey Jr. is coming back and he'll play another character, and that's kind of like got me thinking with all this, with the whole Robert Downey Jr. thing. But first off, we got to address Agatha. Agatha recently wrapped up. Now, I haven't had an opportunity to finish it, and I wasn't even planning on going back and watching it. I watched the first 3 episodes for the simple sake of talking about it on my Sunday night stream. But then Hurricane Helene hit. We had no power for weeks, no internet for even longer than that. And I just never went back to watch it. I didn't care to. Falling out of like the relevance just made me not care. But as it got toward the end, the few people that I was talking to that did watch it said it kind of got a little better toward the end. And I kind of want to check it out just to see how it plays out. It seemed real niche for an already niche market, but we'll see. And that's kind of got me thinking about these upcoming projects now. If that was good, what can we look at what's coming forward? And out of the little teaser trailers we got or announcements we got, there was an animated Marvel Zombies thing that was announced. It's kind of spinning out of the What If series, from what I understand. Not interested. Don't care. That's not going to move the needle forward at all for the overall MCU, much like the smash hit X-Men 97 didn't move the needle forward at all for it either. Like, that was like a highly acclaimed, well-received series, and it still didn't even get She-Hulk viewing numbers. And She-Hulk was like all-time low for as far as we know from Disney. Despite the Disney self-reporting numbers that Agatha did all these views, I don't believe it. It's not showing up on any other streaming charts or keeping the numbers like to themselves and stuff and just telling people what it did. Nah, not falling for it. But where we go from here, like the animated stuff, whatever, there's not a lot of money into that, so they don't have to have a huge return on it. But the live action stuff, the stuff that moves the plot of the MCU forward, we got a few of those little teasers. So the stuff that we knew was coming. First up on the list, we were told that Ironheart, this series originally, I believe, was slated to come out before Wakanda, but it did not. And now that Wakanda came out, we were introduced to Riri. The movie performed well enough at the box office. It didn't do as good as the first Black Panther movie, but it really wasn't like held in high regard. Everybody like had like respect for the passing of Chadwick Boseman, but nobody was like screaming for give us more Riri or give us more Ironheart here. Shuri, that was the other girl in there, but it just wasn't that crazy. So I'm wondering how this is going to be received. Now, the suit looks a lot better than it did in Wakanda, and we got a couple other characters being introduced in this one. The one that has me a little curious and what has me actually wondering about if I was going to watch this, I really didn't care at all, but the fact that Anthony Ramos is playing the Hood, that seems pretty interesting, right? Like maybe, I don't know. The tone and style of this trailer kind of looked a little bit like what we're kind of used to with the whole like, man, it's hard to say, hard to really place it, but Marvel has its own distinct little brand, its own like flavor for all of this stuff, and it's all kind of the same. But this had that like Iron Man like 1 kind of vibe to it, like it tonally it looked like that. So I'm kind of curious what they'll do with this. Having the Hood in here should take it more of a dark direction, as he is like an anti-villain kind of guy. He gets the magic hood and starts taking over gangs and stuff. So we'll see where it goes. I'm definitely going to give this one a shot, but I don't think this one's going to be overall like viewed, and not necessarily well received or panned by viewers, or what do they call it when everyone goes and just like does like a review bomb? Yeah, I don't see this even getting review. Agatha didn't even get review bomb. People just didn't care enough to give it the time of day. I'm not sure if people are going to care enough for Riri, and we'll get into like the big reasons of that in just a minute here. But the next one up was Wonder Man. Like initially, like I was kind of excited for this. I love this actor. Yeah, it was like Yahya Abdul Mateen, something like that. He played Black Manta. He played in The Greatest Showman. He's a fantastic actor. And I thought it'd be pretty cool to get a Wonder Man show. And then we got the trailer. And it looked like some whimsical, over attempted comedy set in like Hollywood. Guy trying to make it just seemed weird. I know it was a short teaser. We didn't get to see like Simon using his powers or this or that, but it made me not even care to. Like, unfortunately, I'm hoping the next trailer will be a little bit better and we'll see what happens from there. But from that first teaser we got, it just looked ridiculously pointless. I don't know. I don't know how that, again, we're going to get to the problem of all this in just a second here. But the big one, which I think could be the only saving grace for like this whole slate for the MCU, was their Daredevil announcement. So Daredevil Born Again, we know was coming. We know they've been working on it. They had a showrunner. They fired the showrunner. They got a new showrunner. And the first thing that he did was post on social medias where he bought like a giant stack of Daredevil collected editions. So basically, he was reading a bunch of Daredevil to get in the groove, to get in the vibe, to get more familiar with himself on this character, his world. And that's what you should do. You know, Marvel has had this standing order where they don't want any of their directors and writers to read the comics, just take the characters and do whatever, and it's backfired on them. So seeing that we have probably the most beloved, successful Marvel show, even though it was pre-MC or pre like Disney stuff, it was on Netflix. They look like they're putting a little time and consideration into this one. It has the same vibes. It has the same tones. It clearly looks R-rated. We saw Punisher in the trailer. We see Kingpin in the trailer. We even get to see a little teaser of the new villain they're bringing in straight out of the comics called Muse, and he looks straight out of the comics. So I think this one's in good hands. If they can land this, they can at least keep this successful, keep this running, where I don't see the other ones necessarily doing it. If they don't land this, if they don't absolutely bring that same exact vibe and tone and style, this has to feel like a smooth continuation from the Netflix stuff. It can't feel like it has the Disney flair. It can't be like his appearance in She-Hulk or the goofy Echo show. It just ain't going to work. You have to really bring that same energy from the next Netflix run and just like it just continued on to a different platform. If they can do that, I think they have a success on their hands with this one. And it really gets into the whole issue with like all these diminishing returns and people just not connecting with these characters and stuff. Like you go back to Ironheart, like people like Iron Man, that doesn't mean they're going to like Ironheart. People like Iron Man because they got introduced to him. They spent time with him. They saw him grow as a character and go on these fantastic arcs, and like his total arc was fantastic. But now we don't have Iron Man. We don't have Captain America. And we're kind of just rushing through these characters, throwing them out there, and people aren't vibing with them and they're not sticking and they're still trying to get them out there. It's just not going to work. You have like these foundational characters in both Marvel and DC that people are attached to. Those are your money makers. Those are the ones that keep the lights on, and everything else around them, no matter how much some people may like them, not enough people love those characters to really carry any of this stuff. So to think that Ironheart should be expected to like pull in these giant numbers, or Wonder Man should be expected to bring in record streaming people that are like now subscribing to your service, that's a bar that I don't know why you expect to be able to hit. Like, it's just unrealistic at this point. I mean, it was unrealistic to begin with. The fact that Daredevil should be able to do that is actually impressive. You know, Daredevil is not Spider-Man or Captain America, but he's been around for a while. You know, people saw him on television in the 70s in the Hulk show. He had some form of existence. And then the Netflix thing, you know, people were excited for that. It kind of predated this whole oversaturation of stuff where people just think, yeah, just these things are becoming 1 in a million. So people flocked to Netflix to check that out. Netflix was the place to go. It was before there was 1,000 different streaming options. So it was like a perfect storm to be a success. And then the quality was there. You know, it was edgy, it was dark, it was gritty, it was grounded, much like the Matt Reeves Penguin universe stuff. Like, people were loving that stuff. They didn't stop, and we're just not getting that anymore. But to expect the other ones to really move the needle forward to drive fans nuts and get people crazy. That's unrealistic. So it seems like we're getting a kind of like a content dump of the stuff that Disney had already slated. You know, we saw some of the writing on the wall with like the flop after flop for them. And I know people are saying it made millions, but like I did a video back a while ago looking at the actual money they put into these versus what they have to get back to actually be a financial success. And they're totally overextending themselves beyond. Like, it's crazy how much money they have to make back to be successful with some of this stuff. It's not even fair to the people doing it, but to think they're going to hit that with these, it's crazy. And they kind of made some subtle conversations, announcements, interviews and stuff where it looks like they're doing a huge direction shift. I really feel like Daredevil is like going to be the first one that really shows us what that looks like. But these other ones look like projects that were already in motion. And we got to get past some of these things to get into that next era, because you can only like not, you can put all this time and money into stuff, and if you break even, it's a failure. If you only make a little bit of money, it's a failure. You just invested a lot of time, manpower and stuff. You need to really make some profit to really feel like you've done something. So I think we can expect to see some definite shifts in the content from the MCU, but I don't think we're there yet. I'm not saying these are going to be bad. I just don't think these are the ones that are really going to draw people back to make people honestly say the whole, like, you know, we're back kind of thing. Is the MCU dead? Is it dying? No, it won't. Yeah, it won't be dead. It won't die. There's too much money invested in this stuff. Every now and then you get a Deadpool. Like, it's just a matter of will it be like as widely accepted? Will people really dig it like they used to? That's the real question. There's no death to this. It's just how good will it be? And I don't think a lot of these will be it, but I'm hoping Daredevil will really land. Leave me a comment. Let me know which one of these you're excited about, if any of them. Do you think the MCU is going to kick it back into high gear before we get to Secret Wars? Is what's going to be the one that changes it? You know, we have the Falcon movie coming, or Captain America 4. And other than that, Thunderbolts looked all right, right? So maybe we're getting a little shift in direction. We'll see how it all plays out. Until the next one, remember, we are Legion.